Welcome to episode 8 of the RAGAMUFFIN Music Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
And this is a place for us to talk about the music we love. Let's look at the news. Lotus Eater was set to release their debut album this month, however, that's not happening. Allegations against frontman Paul Collins were brought to light earlier this month via the Twitter account Surviving Paul Collins. Three survivors came forward detailing experiences of emotional, physical and sexual abuse they suffered. He denies all allegations and said on Twitter he would be taking legal action. Initially, Lotus Eater put out a statement saying Paul Collins is no longer a member of Lotus Eater, but some fans on Twitter felt that this wasn't, enough of a response. Shortly after that, they posted a further update that's shown on screen, signalling that the band has come to an end. Their social medias have since been deactivated. We here all stand with the victims and commend them for their bravery in coming forward. There's just no place for something like this in this scene. Everyone deserves to feel safe and respected, whether you're a fan or a band member.
No.
Well, you're right in saying that it's got no place in our scene at all, but unfortunately it's something that just keeps rearing its ugly head. So I think, as members of the scene, everyone just needs to be better. If you're a band member and you think someone in your band is acting like this, call them out on it. One of the examples in this situation was done in front of a group of friends. So that's a group of friends that have seen that kind of behaviour and not called him out on it. So I think anyone that's a peer that if your bandmates are doing something like that, call them out on it. If your mates are doing something like that at a show or whatever, call them out on it. Because they're more likely to listen to you, and it shouldn't get to this point in the first place.
An update on Mark Hoppus. Back in June, he announced that he had stage 4 lymphoma. He shared on social media on July 19th that his chemotherapy treatment is working. We wish him nothing but the best and hope that he beats it as soon as possible. So for something positive, what's everyone's favourite Blink song?
I'll go with Damn It. I love Damn It.
I think that's What's My Age Again.
You?
First Date, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. We love Mark Hoppus.
Power to you, Mark.
Yeah. And lastly, an update on Free Britney. I know this isn't metal or alternative news, but I think we should talk about it because I know it's been brought to light a lot, but maybe to the metal community or alternative community, they don't really know what's going on. So she's been in a conservatorship since 2008, which has basically given her father control of her estate, her assets, her career, basically her life. Conservatorships are usually used for people who can't make their own decisions, but, she was still performing, so how is she able to, perform night in, night out, but she can't make her own decisions? For a long time, the public have been calling it to come to an end. #Free Britney has kind of become a bit of a campaign. And recently we heard her speak about it for the first time ever. She went before a court. She described it as abusive. She had little to no privacy and was often forced to work and perform against her will, with one instance where she had like a fever. She quoted saying, "I was told right now in the conservatorship I'm not able to get married or have a baby," and she even told the court that an IUD has been placed inside of her to prevent her getting pregnant. She also said, quote, "I deserve to have a life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have the same rights as anybody." As of July 14th, she's hired a new lawyer and wants to file abuse charges against her father and also wants him removed from the conservatorship. Free her, basically.
Definitely, there's no question it's abuse. I'd heard as well that she's been forced in the past to take medication against her will as well, which it's just horrific. No one should have to be forced to do stuff.
The fact that someone can have that much control over another person, especially their family, and force them to those kind of things is disgusting.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I really hate about it as well is how the people around her have done a lot of work to make it seem like she's not sound of mind. If you see her Instagram, it seems like she's not all there. But then when some recordings were released from her talking in court, and she's aware of what's going on and she's sound of mind, and they've put in a load of work to make it seem like she's not okay, and that's just not fair. She deserves to. I mean, she's been working since she was a teenager.
I have seen today that I think the next court date is September 29th, and I think that is her new attorney that she's managed to get has filed a petition to get her dad removed from everything to do with it, because he just controls all her financials now. So hopefully we'll have more progress by the end of September.
So this is three metalheads saying Free Britney. James, what did you recommend us last month?
So I recommended Phantom Anthem by August Burns Red. What did you think?
Yeah, I quite liked it. I can see for sure why James likes it, being a drummer. There's some blast beats pretty much straight from the outset. There's some fun lead parts too, like in The Frost, which is one of my favourites on the album. There's numerous melodic instrumental style parts which sound great and help break up the heavier metal sections as well. And I think my favourite on the album was probably Invisible Enemy.
Absolutely. I think that won a Grammy for Best Metal Performance, if I remember correctly.
I can see why it would.
Absolute tune. Alex?
Yeah, going into it, I didn't think I would enjoy it all that much, just because I love metalcore, and I've just never been able to get into August Burns Red, really. I don't know, there's something about their kind of style I've never really liked, but I enjoyed this album a lot. I think The Frost, Float and Generation stood out, especially The Frost.
I love the intro to that song.
And I think the thing I love the most is the guitar work. There's one point, like the midpoint of Lifeline, where like everything goes like calm, and he's just like wailing on the guitar. It's so good. So yeah, the riffing and the soloing is probably my favourite thing on this album. So yeah, it was nice.
Lovely. Dan, what did you recommend?
I recommended Sleepless by Palm Reader. What did you guys think?
I enjoyed it. There were some solid riffs, nice vocals, and some like really solid drums as well. The songwriting didn't pull me in massively, and I found that I think a couple of my favourites were Stay Down and Both Ends of the Rope, probably because of their slightly heavier kind of sounds in it. But overall, yeah, really solid album. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it was quite chaotic in a good way, but I think because it was quite chaotic, I think it's probably a bit more of a grower, and I probably didn't give it enough listens. But I did enjoy it. I think A Bird in Its Feathers was probably my favourite song. But yeah, I liked it.
A lot of varying styles in it throughout the album, which is really nice and refreshing.
Yeah, I agree on Alex with him saying it's chaotic. I think like its unpredictability is what appeals quite well with it. Like you never know what's about to happen, whether it's going to drop into a melodic guitar part or whether it's going to drop into a breakdown or a scream. That's what I quite like about it.
I recommended Disobedient by Stitch Your Guns. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I've always liked to stick to your guns. This is a solid hardcore album with a main repeating theme of change starting from inwards from yourself. There's a really cool intro and some nice little interlude kind of moments dotted throughout the album as well, which I always like. It's rebellious and aggressive with choruses sounding like rally cries to sort of unite in solidarity. We'll go with that. And I think The Crown and The War Inside have always been my favourites on this album, and they still are on this extra listen I've given it.
I really enjoyed it. This was my first proper exposure to them, like just going into a whole album. It Starts With Me was a really good opener, and it has like a good build up for the rest of the album. There's great riffs throughout. Love the vocals, plenty of opportunities. They're saying like live crowd participation would be so much fun. Love the intro to Nobody, the bass line, amazing. RMA, fantastic. Just the instrumentals all packed into like less than a minute and a half of pure energy and riffage, amazing. I agree with you with The War Inside. That was probably my favourite on the album, followed by RMA. I definitely need to listen to them a lot more now. This was really enjoyable album to listen to.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
I did like as well, especially like the shorter duration of the songs.
Yeah.
Like left me wanting a bit more. Because like you go from one to one, and it's nice and fast paced. And I'm used to more song structures being longer, and so having something like 2 to 3 minutes for a lot of it, I'm like, oh.
Kind of eliminates like that burnout feeling you get halfway through an album.
Yeah, it's really refreshing.
That's where the interludes kind of add to the album as well, because you've got this fast-paced, high energetic, like 2 minute long song I think it's like 2 minutes in RMA, and then like you've got interludes to break it down and sort of calm down for a little bit before you go straight back into a high energy hardcore song.
Very good album.
Nice.
You look really happy that we like it.
I love it.
You're like a proud father.
Thanks. All right, let's look at the latest releases then. So, Employed to Serve released Exist. What do you guys make of it?
I really loved it. I love the intro with thumping floor tom along the guitar work. Another example of phenomenal female vocals in metal at the minute, alongside like Spirit Box and Dying Wish, who we're going to talk about later. Really nice mini drum solo as the song switches up in the tempo and style, straight into even more riffage. Solo was nice, solid metal throughout. I was engaged throughout the entire song, and I hadn't realised until looking more into them that we'd actually seen them live at All Points East, and I'd completely forgotten that.
Yeah.
And with the new album out in September as well, it's definitely going to be released. I'm keeping an eye on. So I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah, I agree. They've shown that they're not just a band that sells windbreakers. Like James said, they're one of many female-fronted bands that are breaking through the hardcore and deathcore scene at the moment, which is amazing to see. They blend traditional hardcore with sort of some interesting guitar licks, and they're going on a big tour with Gojira next year. So I think this song will win over a lot of new fans there.
A lot of good
That's a
exposure.
big
They're going to be
yeah.
ones to watch.
Yeah, I liked it. I think the riffing was great. I love these like gang vocals throughout the song. Yeah, it was just my first introduction to them. Like, we saw them at All Points East, but I don't fully remember it.
No.
That day
I
was a
think
bit
it was
of a blur.
early in the day. We
Yeah.
just got a couple of drinks in.
So yeah, great song. Make Them Suffer released Contraband featuring Courtney LaPlante of Spirit Box. I like this a lot. I thought the piano was a really nice touch, especially in the chorus, and the chord progressions and changes were really great. And the singer in the chorus was also amazing. Courtney's feature was great. I mean, I've said a few times now that how much I like her vocals. I think she might be one of the best around at the moment. I think she complemented their actual screamer quite well. And then that end breakdown was just meaty, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've not got much more to add really. It's just a banger, innit? I love the transition out of the first chorus. That blended really well and going to the next verse. And it goes without saying really that Courtney nailed the feature, especially in that second verse.
Yeah, they've been a band on my radar for a while. I've had like some of the songs pop up and recommended from Spotify from just like, based on what you listen to. And I've heard like Soul Decay and Bones, and kind of like I needed to listen to Make Them Suffer a bit more. Again, like you said, the piano and some of the strings as well, I think was really, really nice. And that piano carries a melody really, really nicely. Groovy riffs. I can't say anything else to add on what you said about the vocals, Alex. And again, the highlight for me is the outro. The heaviness, the pinched harmonics, the tempo slowing right down, the machine gun double bass drumming, the gutturals. It's amazing. Really, 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 really big fan of this.
Also a really good video as well.
Yeah.
A lot of bands nowadays probably don't put as much effort into a video as they should, because streaming is just so easy. And videos aren't shown on TV like they were. But
It's not MTV anymore.
go and watch the video, because it adds to the song, I think.
Yeah.
Complements it really well. So yeah.
But watch it after the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blood Youth released Iron Lung. What do we make of this?
I thought it was fantastic. Great dissonant chords from the intro, with the vocals just in your face straight away. I think it was a simple riff, but really allowed for the strong vocal performance to shine through. And I love the section that drops in and out with a ride cymbal and bass guitar taking like a nice centre stage. Again, a simple but really great and effective chorus with the harmonies and the vocals, with a line "Will you pray for me?" encouraging like a really good sing along. I really like the triplet feel in the riff and the bridge section, which then flows nicely into the breakdown. They've been a band that I've wanted to listen to more ever since me and Dan went and saw Beartooth, I believe it was, and they supported. And then knowing that we're going to see them at Slam Dunk in about 6 weeks' time, I'm getting very excited about Blood Youth.
Yeah, they've been a really good band for a long time, and as a long-term fan, it's really exciting to see or to imagine where they could go after this album. Because if the songs they've released so far are anything to go by, it's going to be easily their best album. It's almost disturbing at the start with the sort of ambience that it gives off,
isn't it?
and then it goes straight into a heavy chug-happy riff, and then the tempo picks up, throws you about all over the place, and then the chorus kind of feels like a little bit of a pause to catch your breath, which is quite funny given the lyrics in there are "Will you breathe for me?" And then the remainder of the song just picks you up and thrashes you about again, throws you to the ground with a breakdown loaded with with a few nice pinch harmonics. before that chorus comes back in again and picks it up off the floor. And then I can only add to that by saying Kaya's vocals sound the best they ever have.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. That chorus is incredible. We're seeing them in Oxford in a very, very small venue.
Yeah.
And I think, that chorus in a room like that with like people, like dedicated fans, is going to be really quite something. And also, I think compared to like when I listen to some of their older stuff, this feels like a bit more of a defined identity.
Yeah, agreed.
And yeah, we've just been absolutely spoilt for like upcoming album, like the anticipation for the rest of the year for albums that are coming is insane, because there's just been so much good music lately.
I'd say in particular as well, like with them and some of the people on this list, there is some fantastic British metal coming out at the minute. Like, a lot of the time you'll hear about big American bands, some Canadian bands, and then we've always had like the trickle of a few like really good ones. At the minute, there's a lot more emerging that
Feels like we're taking over a little bit now.
Yeah, we're a lot more dominant in terms of British metal at the minute, which is absolutely fantastic.
I think the download pilots helped that, you know,
exposure,
because it forced them to just showcase the best of Britain, and I think it's only a good thing, really, isn't it?
It's worked.
Definitely.
Worked.
Speaking of the download pilot, we got a new song from Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes called Sticky. Dan, I know you're quite a big fan of this band, so what do you think?
I am quite a big fan, but after the first listen I didn't like it at all. Second listen I still wasn't that keen, but I stuck it in a playlist and let it come up on shuffle a few times, and after that I now think it's actually alright. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. It's a grower, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you don't take it seriously at all, then it's actually just a really fun, catchy song.
I felt a bit the same as I did with My Town, where my initial reaction to it wasn't very positive, but they've both grown on me. I think the best thing about this band is like their live energy. I've watched a lot of live videos of them recently, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't translate to recording that well, or at least maybe these two songs aren't, because live I'm sure this would be great. But I think the important thing about them is they probably are quite a good gateway band into like punk and heavy music, especially because they play like Reading, stuff like that. They can appeal to a bit more of a mainstream crowd. But yeah, I'm sure live it'll go off. James?
Like, this kind of punk, I guess, has never been something that massively appeals to me. So I really kind of struggle with them and like bands like Idols, to be honest. I know you're both fans of them. I love the bass tone, but after that it kind of just went a bit downhill for me. The drums seem too processed. Every like snare drum hit at the same velocity and sounds like the life of the drums has been deadened. So this was not one that I enjoyed, sadly.
Glad you like the bass.
The bass was nice.
I think that's what I mean about like live to studio, because obviously live they'll play with an actual drummer.
Yeah.
And then the energy and the feel comes out a bit more.
I can imagine it. A live performance of like most bands that I've seen, the music hits differently and you can see the emotion, the performance and that, and it's something that's another level. But hearing that on a recording, especially again, like I'll always come from the drum point of view, and if it sounds like it's all on the same velocity and you're not hearing like different accents and hearing like the feel of it, I don't know if does he have a drummer that does this, or is it all done mixed?
It's always a live band, full live band.
Okay, so
The Rattlesnakes.
They've produced, but like in the recording scenario as well.
Oh, I don't know. I imagine it's probably electronic on this one.
So that's where, like, even if he got someone in to record it, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more than if it just being programmed drums. But that's what it sounds like.
But even with programmed drums, I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, Dan, but like Spirit Box program their drums, and you wouldn't know because they've put the time into, change velocities, change time. Do you know what I mean?
But then it comes into production, doesn't it?
You've got to humanise it a bit, and I think maybe that's what's lacking in this.
It probably depends on the style you're going for as well. It could well be that it was intentionally supposed to sound sort of produced.
Yeah. I still like the song.
You get what you get.
We got a bit of a proper 2000s metalcore throwback from Dying Wish, their song Fragments of a Bitter Memory, which is the title track from their upcoming debut album. What do you guys make of it?
I loved it. There's no messing around with the blast beats from the get-go, alongside a really fun riff. The emotional lyrics are performed fantastically, and really, really stand out with some really nice subtle harmonies underneath the screams during latter sections of the song. I love the mixing of the track when listening in headphones. There's fantastic use of panning between the guitars. The drum kit sits fantastically in the mix as well. I am very much looking forward to this debut album. Very much excited about this.
Yeah, I loved it as well. The intro is really cool, and then the vocals hit, and they really hit. There's another amazing vocal performance, not just the screams, but the cleans as well, and then the double bass really slaps you around the face, like sort of one hand on each cheek, just at the same time, like a proper.
My favourite era of metalcore is like the 2000s, like
A wonderful time.
Kill Switch and Atreyu and Misery Signals were like at the height of their power. And this felt like just a really big throwback to that. And yeah, another example of just like an incredible female vocalist, like just being so good. And like you said, James, there's like these moments where there's like these little clean singing melodies under the guitar melody, and it's almost like a bit of like a reprieve from the brutality of the song. Yeah, this band's just on the up. They've had a song with the singer of Knock Loose as well, that's going to be on the album. And they're on quite a few big tours as well. They've supported Motionless in White. They're supporting Atreyu. Yeah, I really like this. I'm excited for the album. It was really good.
Will be good.
Felt like for a long time, talented women were struggling to be like held in the right regard that they should have
Just
been.
be recognised.
Yeah,
Not being taken seriously.
Yeah.
Really.
It feels like we're getting past that now.
Put it this way, I can't remember the last time I heard someone compare a female-fronted band to Paramore. That used to be the issue for a long time.
But you could also now not just make up maybe like a really good gig lineup of like 4 bands. You could probably create a really solid one-day festival out of just female-fronted bands and really showcasing all of them.
Beyond what we've talked about today, like in the scene now, there's so many talented women in metal.
And they're ready to be given the opportunity on merit, not just for the sake of we need to have the numbers of female artists higher. It's
because they're good musicians.
It's because they're good enough.
Yeah, nice ones. 3 white men talking about women in music.
What do we know?
Trivium released In the Court of the Dragon. What do we make of this?
I found it a very standard Trivium tune. A nice continuation from what seemed like a bit of a resurgence with the release of What the Dead Men Say last year. Got a lot of fan and critical acclaim from that. Alex Bent's drum work has just been something particularly of note the past few years, ever since he became their drummer. Just some wonderful, technically amazing fills and grooves. The blast beats switching between the cymbals is just so fluent and like it's just gorgeous to listen to. I've always been a fan of Matt's vocals, and I think they're on top form in this song. Some fairly just typical Trivium riffs they have with sound, and it works. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary here. It's not too surprising, but just solid instrumentals. The track does feel a little long to me, and I think if it was slightly more condensed, it would raise the level a little bit higher. But I'm just reminded listening to this that I need this band to headline a major festival. Down at festival, get your shit together and let's see it.
Just what a cool song. What a cool video. It feels a bit like an opera, which is a compliment.
Yeah,
I mean that in the best way. The guitar tone is sick. And I've seen a lot of people online calling Trivium now the modern day Metallica, and I can absolutely see that.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good analogy.
Do you know what? I hadn't actually seen that online, but I was listening to it today and thought that to myself, and I thought, is that too grand of a statement to make?
Apparently not. A lot of people think
I think they're like... This song made me think like they're probably the most consistently great modern metal band.
It was such a good catalogue as well.
They do, don't they? You forget sometimes, and like they've been going for so long. The song itself, I really liked. I liked that it just started straight away, like no fucking around. Because sometimes a band like this would mess around with an intro for too long. But
yeah, because they were teasing it sort of a week before, as if it was going to be like some big movie or something. So I was expecting kind of a long intro, but like you said, it just goes straight in.
Yeah, I love the song. I think it just made me think this band should be headlining a festival. Yeah.
They're ready. They're ready.
Yeah, modern day Metallica. Yeah, I like that. Don Broco released their second single from their upcoming album, Gum Shield. What do you guys think?
I love Don Broco, but I don't love this song. the body slam bit and the whole Jean-Claude Van Damme bit is really fun, but other than that, it's a bit of a lyrical letdown. But a lot like the Frank Carr and the Rattlesnake song "Sticky" we were talking about earlier. I think this will be a lot better live and will really come into its own then in that environment.
I quite like it. First of all, they're massive trolls, aren't they? Because that whole
Massively so.
fight promotion thing was so silly.
We figured it out, boys. Though. If you're listening, you didn't fool us.
Yeah.
You did until like 2 days before, but we worked it out.
Rob Damiani said that the song's about social media and the anxiety that comes with posting online and the fear of resulting arguments. And the thing is, when I find out what a Don Broco song's about, then I can see it in the lyrics, but I can never see the lyrics and figure it out. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it backwards.
Yeah.
And so knowing what it's about, I actually really like this song now. I feel like they're playing to both of their strengths, with Rob in the verses kind of being a bit, I don't know, being quite hard with his vocals and stuff, and then Matt kind of soaring in the chorus.
Soaring's a great word for it.
He's got such a great voice. Him on a chorus.
I think the fact that Rob's voice is naturally quite low and Matt's is a lot higher naturally, they kind of
complement each other really well. But it's grown on me since its release. I wasn't that keen on it the very first time, but it's same with Manchester Superheads. It's really grown on me. And that little melody at the beginning, they're like, don't know what instrument that's on, but that's been stuck in my head as well. I like it. Also, I like that David Beckham is their like mascot for this album now.
Yeah, they had the cowboy for the last one.
Yeah,
and now we've got David Beckham.
When it was like that masked figure in the ring in the video, and then he took his so silly. James,
I do like the video, by the way. While we're talking about that, the video's quite.
The
funny.
video was good. Yeah.
Here we go.
James.
Another confusing Don Broco review. I'm not a fan of the intro. Then it does feel like it starts to get a bit better. Nice instrumentals. And then it drops back down when he just starts repeating the intro part again, and the repetition just started like breaking me down slowly. And then again, the chorus, it felt like it was starting to rise up again. The bridge section onwards was the best part of the song for me. I just seem to get confused more and more when I listen to this band, because they have some elements to songs that I love and other parts that I really don't enjoy. I'm starting to think they're always just going to be a band for me where I'll never 100% enjoy them, but I can still listen to them, if that makes any sense at all. So mixed.
For context, I don't believe James has ever seen Don Broco live.
Yeah, it will change. It will change how you feel about them.
So
all?
We'll come back to this clip once you've seen them live. Potentially a slam dunk.
Okay, let's talk about "Hip to Be Scared" by Ice Nine Kills. I love horror films, and I love metalcore, but this just makes me cringe. It just feels so pointless. Like, what am I getting out of this song that I don't get from watching American Psycho? It just do you know what I mean? I don't think it adds anything to the story or the characters. I don't think it's no fresh perspective on what happens in that film. Also, I feel like it alienates potential fans who don't watch those kind of films, because they've done an entire album of this already, of horror films, and if you don't like that, it's like, well, what's the point of me listening to it? But then I'm a horror fan, and I don't see the point in listening to it. I just think, for a song or two, it's fine, but they've done an entire album, and now they're gearing up to do a second one, and I just think, what's the point?
What do you think of the video?
Embarrassing again. I don't know. I feel so bad just like ripping on it, but it just feels like a guy he's just found a reason to remake scenes from American Psycho.
Exactly. It's just a bit of fun. They're just having a laugh.
I know it's just a bit of fun, but I don't know. I just feel loads of second-hand embarrassment from it. Just watching it, I just think, I don't know. It makes my skin crawl. I don't like it.
Dan?
Well, I mean, their early work was a little bit too seen for me, but when the Silver Scream came out, I think they really came into their own commercially and artistically. The whole album has a refined melodic sensibility that really makes it a cut above the rest.
You know I'm going to cut your face over that.
I thought it was alright. It's just a bit of fun. It's an interesting concept. I don't think they've nailed it perfectly, but it's just a laugh. I don't think anyone should be taking it too seriously.
He says, looking at Alex directly.
Reminded me a bit of The Used at times. And it's got an awesome chorus, which I think makes the song really. James.
I want to start with, I think this band has so much potential. There's so much range in the vocals and the ability between the cleans and the screams. And instrumentally, there's some good parts of the song. And like you, I'm not really a fan of it. It seems like it would fit really well on Broadway as like a musical number. With like the weird interjections of dialogue, changing the style of music, and like these fourth wall breaking lyrics almost, and which I didn't really enjoy. I do agree with you on the chorus. I think it's phenomenally well written, extremely catchy, and after repetitive listens, it was starting to get in my head. Which
it was in my head from the first time I heard it.
That's really good. That's the aim when you're trying to write a song. You want to kind of hook people in with it, and it was getting in there. I find the Jacoby Shaddix feature minimal and pretty much unnecessary. I didn't really see a point in that at all.
It just felt like they needed someone for him to kill in the video.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're touring together and they're friends, so...
Understandable.
Yeah.
But then, it fits with the theme of like being a theatre performance in the video. I did find it quite cringy. I bet you're absolutely looking forward to seeing them at Slam Dunk as well, Alex, aren't you? You're going to be right at the front.
No chance.
I'm going to get pictures of Alex right at the front at Slam Dunk. We'll take him there, Dan.
We may even vlog it.
Yes, you'll see Alex's excitement in person.
Fair play to them. They found their niche, and there's obviously people that enjoy it.
Not you?
Not me. But are you guys like big horror fans?
No.
Not majorly, no.
Did you not feel like a bit, I don't know, like alienated from it right off the bat because you didn't know what was going on?
Watching the video, like I've not seen American Psycho, but I can tell, mostly probably from memes to be honest, of like certain scenes and things that happen. And so I can kind of relate to it and knew straight away looking at it, like, oh, okay, that's American Psycho based. But then watching it with you at one point, you were saying, oh, this is dialogue that mirrors it, and they really were kind of mimicking. But it didn't alienate me. It didn't add anything for me. Like the video just made it feel more cringy and things like that. But then from a musical point of view, like I said, the chorus and his vocals, like they've got potential with it.
Well, people like it, so fair play. Memphis Mayfire released Death Inside, the second single that we've had from them recently. What did you make of it?
Some aggressive vocals supported by some really fun riffs from the start. I feel like the chorus sections are much stronger, both instrumentally and vocally, I feel like the verse sections are much stronger, both instrumentally and vocally, compared to the chorus. It feels like it doesn't build to that big chorus, and instead I'm waiting to hear these verse sections repeated more, which is completely 180 of what I think to expect from a song. I'm a big fan of the bridge and the breakdown. I really like how it's crafted, and then it's back to the flat chorus for me a bit. I felt it was a decent song, but it doesn't compare at all to Blood and Water, which I think was much, much stronger, and I really, really enjoyed.
I think, like a lot of Memphis Mayfire songs, it's the chorus that makes it. Everything else is sort of a little bit basic and predictable, but the chorus is always just on point, catchy, everything you need from them. There's a good breakdown, but it feels like it's kind of cut a bit short just to fit that extra chorus in at the end. So yeah, it's nothing more than a decent song.
Spanish Love Songs released Phantom Limb. I love this band. Dan recommended us this album in one of the early episodes of the podcast, and they're just so good at like capturing this feeling of like hopelessness and feeling like defeated about life, both musically and lyrically. And there's one line in it: if we burn it all down, will we feel something new? If not, what's the point in anything? I love that. Yeah, it's just really it's just so good. I don't have like I don't even know what to say about it other than I don't know, it just gets to me. Like first listen, a lot of their songs just first listen, I feel it like straight away. Yeah, great lyricism and great songwriting, and I love it.
I feel like they're just such a consistent band. They hit it out of the park every time. It's always solid songs. The chorus in this one borrows lyrics from Routine Pain, which is quite nice. It's a nice little callback. The piano refrain's a nice addition as well, sort of going along in the background throughout the whole song. I just mimed a piano then for the listeners. And yeah, they're really good at storytelling using literal lyrics within songs in quite a similar way, I think, to Death Havana do. They try and avoid using metaphors and similes and everything. They're just straight to the point. This is the story. This is a thing that's happening.
Yeah, I like that sort of like straightforward songwriting and storytelling. I think when it's done well, it just cuts through you so much easier than trying to.
They managed to be really poetic and, like you said, capture
the
feeling of hopelessness and heartbreak and everything, without having to dramatize it. It's just real.
No, I think it's fantastically crafted. With that emotion in the vocals, the vibrato like really adds to it. It just kind of like really gets in your face with that, and I think that's where you can connect with those vocals even more.
Well, he feels like he's on the brink of breaking into tears.
It really
at any
does.
second, doesn't it?
It kind of grasps you and really keeps you engaged and listened. It builds beautifully to the chorus, where like it really just does start to peak. Solid bridge section, and I love the ending with just the 16th notes on the hi-hat with the vocals. Really, really good song. Really enjoyable.
I feel like he could sing the McDonald's menu, and I'd probably feel a little bit sad. He's just got that sort of voice. It was great. Our friends in Against the Sun released a new song called Search to Find. With everything they drop, they do something new and a little bit different. This one kind of pushes them in a bit of a slightly heavier realm. The riffs are insane. The video is also really great. And we're going to play a little clip for you now. Cool, wasn't that great?
Amazing.
And what a singer. I mean, like, he's got such a great tone to his voice, but, like, and the power comes through, like...
Really versatile as well.
Yeah.
Like Alex mentioned, it's a completely different song to the last one, but it still works brilliantly.
Yeah. They're great, you know, I think they're probably my favourite thing to come out of us doing this podcast, is finding this band.
Definitely.
Because I don't think we probably would have... I hope they blow up, because they're so good.
Absolutely love the drum intro. It gave me a massive smile when I first listened to it. And it just progresses fantastically from there. Some really groovy instrumentals. Like you said, the vocal performance just takes a massive centre stage. A really nice dynamic with more harsh vocals alongside the song. Nice big chorus. And again, I just want to point out the drum performance. I think the tom work is intriguing, works fantastically in the verses. The chorus has got some really nice and tasteful cymbal work. In some ways, just a fantastic song. I really, really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see what's next for them.
If their last song, It Should Have Been Raining, tugged at your heartstrings, then this just rips it straight out of your chest. The vocals sound huge as always, like we've mentioned. The breakdown's immense, and I'd like to give a special mention to the snare drum, because it sounds tight.
And lastly, we got a new song from Slaughter to Prevail called Savali Ebolo. What'd you make of this one, boys?
Oh, I love it. Beautiful cymbal work from the start with the hi-hat lifts. Alex Terrible's vocals just amazing throughout as normal. Very groovy and drum-heavy verse sections, which I really enjoyed. And some really nice trills paired up between the guitar strums and double bass patterns, which I absolutely loved. The last section of the song I found is where it really peaks. And again, the drum parts just make the song for me, especially with the ride cymbal work. It's just another tune from them, and I am eagerly anticipating Costalon next month. It's one of my most anticipated albums, I think.
I'm not really sure what's going on, but I like it. It's just brutal. I think a year from now, a lot of people will be talking about this band, and they're going to be in high demand for festivals all across Europe. Maybe America as well, if they can break there. And Alex Terrible's just a proper character, isn't he?
If you haven't seen his YouTube channel and some of the covers and stuff he's done, it's amazing.
Yeah, I like the kind of change of pace this has. I think it's showing that this album is going to be a lot more than just a straight up deathcore album. There's so many like different flavours of stuff going on. Like they said before, they kind of call it like new deathcore because of like the new metal vibes. I think him switching between English and Russian as well is really cool. It's kind of something unique that no one else is going to be able to replicate.
I wish I could do that.
And then it ends with what's probably like the second most brutal breakdown of the year. First place goes to Baba Yaga. Yeah, an album of the year contender coming up.
Definitely.
I think also as well, yeah, him as a sort of, I don't want to say character, but he's charismatic frontman. I think that's going to help this band a lot. I think, like Dan said, in a year's time, this band are going to be everywhere, I think. Right, we've got a few upcoming releases to look forward to. On the 13th of August, we've got 3 releases. Lorna Shore will release An I Return to Nothingness EP. Slaughter to Prevail's Costalum and Trashboat's Don't You Feel Amazing. On the 20th, Between the Buried and Me will release Colour 2, and Deaf Heaven will release Infinite Granite. And lastly, on the 27th, Ginger will release Wallflowers. What are we excited for out of that?
If I'm picking just one, 100% it's Slaughter. Version on some of the Trashboat songs have really got my attention more recently. And then after the Ginger single review last month, they're a little bit more on my radar now. So there's some solid releases coming next month.
Yeah, I think personally I'm looking forward to the Trashboat one the most. I'm interested to see how their new direction goes across the whole album, because a lot of the singles so far have been quite different and individual. And also that Ginger one, after hearing Vortex, I'm fully on board with whatever they do now.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Slaughter album as well. I think, yeah, same with Trashboat. I'm not really sure how it's gonna work, because the singles have been a bit weird. I don't know, maybe as part of an album it will all kind of tie together. But let us know in the comments what you're excited for.
That or this or that. That or this or that. That or this or that. That or this.
It's just started raining outside, which is very appropriate, seeing as we're going to be doing summer anthems.
Perfect. This is a UK summer.
Yep, we've gone from a heat wave to pissing rain. So I've just picked, kind of through the years, some of the biggest summer anthems. I just want to know which one you guys prefer. So first up, we got the Ketchup Song or the Macarena.
I'm going to go with the Ketchup Song. Absolute tune, and that'll probably stick in my head more, to be honest.
I'm going to go for the Macarena because I know the dance moves to that one.
Do you not know the Ketchup one?
I don't think I do, no.
I said a hey, ha, hey, hey.
I can't remember the rest of it.
Okay, I now know the dance moves to both. Thanks for that demonstration. The Macarena's more fun.
I'm going for the Ketchup Song.
Yes.
I like that one. Next we got Somebody That I Used to Know or Rude by Magic.
I think I'm going to go with Somebody That You Used to Know. I enjoy that song a little bit more, I think.
I like Somebody That Used to Know, but Rude's more of a summer appropriate song, I think. I can imagine being sat at a bar listening to that in the sun.
I think Rude, that's the sort of thing I'm picturing as well. As the rain gets louder, I'm sat in the sun somewhere listening to Rude. Okay, next is a bit of an interesting matchup. Flow Rider's Low or Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe.
Call Me Maybe. Much more of a summer anthem, I think, than Low.
I remember Bluetoothing Low amongst my friends at
wow.
school in year 7 or 8 on my LG phone. But I think Carly Rae Jepsen's the more summery anthem.
I think I'm going to go Carly Rae Jepsen as well. We all like it, let's be honest.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Next we got a clash of two absolute dance behemoths. LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem or the Black Eyed Peas' I Got a Feeling.
I'm going to go with I Got a Feeling. I feel a bit more summer vibes from that one, I think. Yeah.
I think for the electronic aspect, it's LMFAO for me. Party Rock is in the house tonight.
Have you got a feeling?
Yes, it is. Do you know what? Yeah, it is. I'm going Party Rock Anthem as well.
I've made Alex believe.
Yeah. Next, we got Crazy in Love by Beyonce or Hot in Here by Nelly.
Oh, Beyonce. Every time. Yeah. Got to vote for Beyonce.
Hot in Here, I think, because that's exactly how I feel in the summer.
I think I'm going to go for Crazy in Love. I like that song.
It's a great song. Absolutely. Banger.
Alright, last up. A divisive one. Okay. This is...
Dun, dun, dun.
Take a moment to think about it if you need to. We got Baby Got Back or The Beach Boys' I Get Around.
As a song, I'd say Baby Got Back.
As a song?
It's an absolute tune. You can't lie. As a summer anthem, though, Beach Boys, I think that hits like a nice summery, by the beach surfing kind of vibe. So, yeah, I'll have to go with that.
Beach Boys, definitely. Driving along with the windows down, Literally getting around.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be driving around with Baby Got Back blaring out my car. Well, there we go. That's the sound of our drizzly UK summer. Let us know which one you'd pick in the comments.
Drizzly summer sounds so depressing.
Okay, this month's feature song is Brighton rock band Adalia, who bring together a variety of influences that make up fun and hard-hitting tunes. The song we have today is called Roll Up. What do you guys think of it?
It's just a really solid rock song. Just straight up, some really solid instrumentals. Nice heavy drum beat in the background for it. Some really, really nice sung vocals in that. Very, very enjoyable song.
Yeah, I enjoy it as well. It's a nice rock song. I think there's something there that everyone will like.
I thought it was really, really catchy. Like, by the time the second chorus was coming around, I was like humming along, and yeah, I liked it. That solo as well.
I was about to say, there's a nice little guitar
Really
solo
nice,
at the end
yeah.
as well.
It's nice to hear sort of like British rock that's like got an old school feel, but like with a lot of energy to it. So yeah, I thought it was great. And with live music coming back soon, make sure you can catch them in the sort of Brighton southeast area. Check them out. So this is Adalia with Roll Up.
Someone call a doctor. Something doesn't feel quite right. Could it be the lack of sleep? It's got me thinking the strangest of things. Or maybe it's just growing pains and the silence of facing myself again and again. He says, darling, work on your smile. Don't you know it's vital curtain call? Roll up, this ain't a show you wanna miss. Take your seats if you're ready for this. Let me sing. Oh, 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 oh. She'll be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2. There's one thing to mortify curiosity, sedate and neurotic mind. Is another to lose taste completely. Lately, I've been craving mayhem. Then the voice in your head that won't stop dreaming gets too tempting. Just call him. She says, darling, brush off your smile. Don't you know it's vital curtain call? Roll up, this ain't a show you wanna miss. Take your seats if you're ready for this. Let me sing. Oh, 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 oh. She'll be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, hello. Let me introduce myself. Patron saint of the hopeless, at your service. Sing. Oh, 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 oh. I'll be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2. Now let me introduce myself. Patron saint of the hopeless, at your service.
Okay, this discussion we're going to be talking about the best of 2021 so far. We've all picked 3 albums, 3 songs, and 3 artists that we think have been the best of the year so far. So let's get into the albums first. James, what's your first pick?
So in no particular order.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna go with Sleep Society, by While She Sleeps. A fantastic return by them. I feel they're just getting stronger and stronger. They're really becoming a big band in terms of UK metal, and I'm so excited about their future. We've seen them grow from like the smallest of stages to now really being recognised bigger and bigger. It's a fantastic album from start to finish. I love this band and I love this album.
Was that one of your picks as well?
It wasn't one of my picks, but yeah, I agree with it being in there. There's not really much more to say about it.
Yeah, that was
A solid band, solid album.
Yeah, that was one of the picks I had as well. I think hearing some of the new stuff live at the Download Pilot, I know we weren't there, but seeing clips of it live has elevated it more.
I'm extremely excited purely just to see Sleep Society after seeing that at the Download Pilot. It looks incredible, and that as a set opener, it's going to go off.
I think it was just a really well balanced album of like all the different nuances that While She Sleeps have in their sound.
One of the ones that I've picked is Architects, for those that wish to exist. It was between this one and While She Sleeps, Sleep Society to make my top 3, and yeah, there's not really much to say about Architects. It's a really complete album full of absolute bangers from one of the leading bands in the UK scene. It's a bit of a new direction for them, but I think they've absolutely nailed it.
I think it's good that we're doing this and we've had like the months to reflect and let the album sit, because I think at the time I was a bit too wrapped up in the whole what's everyone else thinking, because it was quite divisive. People weren't happy that they changed.
Was.
People were happy that they changed. And I think when I got the idea out of my head of comparing it to the 3 albums before, that actually, it is a really, really good album. My first pick for album of the year is The Greatest Mistake of My Life by Holding Absence. I just adore it. I think it was like, I've kind of been keeping a track on my phone of like what we've listened to so far, and like trying to kind of keep it in some sort of order of like my favourites, and this went straight in at the top and hasn't moved. I know we're not doing these in any particular order, but this has been my favourite album. It was such a complete and well-rounded sound, and like it felt like every detail was like very carefully chosen and thought over and decided on. It's got some of the biggest choruses, and the vocal performance all the way through is insane, and I love it so much.
That's the exact reason why I've got it in one of mine as well. Came out of nowhere. Took me sideways. I absolutely enjoyed it. Yeah. And that's why off the back of that, we're all going to go and see them in a few months' time on their tour. Just purely off the base of hearing this album, being absolutely struck by how fantastic it is. Fantastically crafted, really, really well written, great performances. It's a fantastic album from start to finish.
And I wasn't really listening to them before this album, which feels like such a mistake now in hindsight.
Would you say it's the greatest mistake of your life?
Brilliant. Yeah, like something.
Yes, Dad.
Just high-fived over that. Something that I said in our review about it is like the kind of world building that they do. It's one of those albums where you listen to it and like you're completely wrapped up in it. Where like once it goes on, I very rarely turn it off.
It's
like,
quite cinematic.
Yeah.
You could do it on a start to finish really easily.
So yeah, it's a hat trick. It's one of my picks as well.
Yes.
It's equally as strong instrumentally as it is vocally, and that says a lot because Lucas's vocal performance is phenomenal across the whole album, as it was on their last album as well. Unlike you two, I've been a fan of them for a little while, their last album, but it's nice to see you two sort of properly getting into them and being swept off your feet by this album.
Back to you then, James.
So mine, I'm kind of cheating with this one a little bit. I'm mixing in 2 EPs. The Timeless EP and the Bloom EP of Mice and Men. In particularly mostly the Timeless EP. It's been played non-stop in my music rotations. My first proper exposure into Mice and Men came off these EPs this year, and I love them both so much, and really, really anticipating the third one, which hasn't got a date but is going to be released later this year, they've said. it's just fantastically well written. Great performances. The vocals in particular are just fantastic. Just some solid instrumentals. Again, yeah, just completely took me by surprise after not listening to them, always knowing about them. Absolutely fantastic, well-written songs. So, yeah.
My next pick is Devil Sold His Soul with Loss. We reviewed this a few episodes ago, and I think we all absolutely loved it. It's beautifully melodic, crushingly heavy, and I mean, if you're going to wait 10 years to release your next album, you may as well make it this good.
Yeah, it was fantastically well written. Again, from start to finish, it was a fantastic album and a great introduction for me into them. So,
yeah, it was a brilliant way of the way they captured emotions on that album. A lot of different ones, like, you know, from like crushing loss to like hope. You know, yeah, was a really well crafted album, start to finish. Yeah, loved it.
I think another thing that makes it a great album is that I can't really listen to one song off it without going back and listening to just the whole album in full, front to back. Like if a song comes up on shuffle, I've got to go and revisit the album again. And I think if an album can draw you back like that, then that's a good sign.
Definitely.
Okay, so my last pick is Kenny Hoopla with the Survivor's Guilt mixtape. I don't know, in the last like few years I've kind of fallen a bit out of love with pop punk, and this like got me right back in it again. Just feels so refreshing, but like this like classic feel to it. When we talked about it, we said like about the length of it, and like to me that it's perfect because like because I love all the songs so much, I want to indulge in like one go, and you can when it's only 8 songs. Obviously the 2 big singles, Estella and Hollywood Sucks, are amazing, but it's some of the deeper ones. Silence is also an answer, and Inside of Heaven's Mouth especially I just love. Yeah, I'm really excited to see like where he goes next from this. And like Dan said in his blog recently about kind of the changes in pop punk, Kenny Hoopla is like at the forefront of like a revival for it now. And I think with people like him coming from outside of the genre into it is a good thing, because it puts more eyes on the scene in a way. And obviously,
he's got like a genuine interest in the scene as
well.
It feels from what I understand about his background, he grew up listening to pop punk and alternative music, so it's good for him to explore that kind of area as well.
Okay, let's talk about Song of the Year. James, your first pick.
My first pick is You All You Need by While She Sleeps. As soon as I heard it, it gripped me really strongly and held tight. I desperately wanted to learn the drums for it immediately, and I probably learned it within about 2 days, especially with help from Sav's drum playthrough on Sleep Society. The guitar work by Sean is just another level. That dude can riff, for sure. The vocal performance, you're starting to hear more diversity from Loz. The songwriting's fantastic. Music video is trippy as fucking amazing. It's an absolute tune, and I think it might be one of my favourite While She Sleeps songs. Definitely top 3. I love this song. So yeah, You All You Need, While She Sleeps.
It's a banger. I've picked a different sleep song.
Which one?
Shall I get to it now?
I've
gone for Nervous.
Survive!
We didn't just talk about sleeps all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone for Nervous instead. I loved You're All You Need.
I was going between the 2, so it was close.
But Nervous, I think, just has this like anthemic feel of like I think more of like a career defining song, maybe. The kind of one that you could look back on like
it's hard to explain, but it just feels special, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The exposure they got from it as well.
Yeah, they were like
them up.
all over Radio 1.
It's still on like the B list on the Radio 1, on BBC Radio 1.
Yeah.
So it's still getting loads of plays. And the feature from Simon Neil, I wasn't sure about it at the start, but I get it now.
It's absolutely perfect.
The way he's kind of drip fed in, rather than it being like your standard
feature,
verse
He's
or
like
a chorus.
interwoven into the band for a song. Yeah.
Really, really nice.
I just think live as well, it's going to be just like almost like overwhelming to be like caught up in that.
Definitely.
Well, I guess your second pick then, James.
Okay, so my next one I've got is Obsolete by Mice and Men.
Right.
This was the song that really pulled me into them, especially off that Timeless EP that I mentioned earlier. It's just fantastically well written. The vocals have just stayed in my head constantly. And I've got like people from work listening to like metal now based literally on the song. I've played them the song and they're just like, oh, this is really, really good. And they're people that listen to like a bit of rock and this has grasped them. Absolute tune and 100% one of my songs of the year.
It just put me right back in that feeling of like 15 years old, just like listening to aggressive metalcore as loud as I want. Yeah, I love it.
That's exactly what those EPs have done to me as well. They've taken me straight back to like the self-titled days.
Yeah.
Second and Sebring kind of vibes. So I've gone for Alkaline by Sleep Token because it just slaps, doesn't it? It's got that classic signature Sleep Token vibe of just building the song so subtly and beautifully, going into an amazing chorus, a little bit of a breakdown at the end. And since the first listen, I just had it on repeat constantly.
It's so captivating. I've got it on my honourable mentions for this.
I was actually self-isolating the time it came out, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. It's how I spent loads of my time.
It's very repeatable. You can have
It's
a
really
lot of
addictive.
repeat listens for it. Amazing song, an amazing video as well. That's still, if I want to go back and listen to it and I'm not out and about, just listening to it on Spotify, I will put on the video for it and just sit and watch it. It's really, really engaging.
It's weird. It's even though obviously they have chuggy guitars and they have breakdowns here and there, it feels like they exist in just another realm of music that's not the scene or heavy. Do you know what I mean?
But they are just something else.
Yeah, it's like you could put them in like a theatre, like a stage show, like seated theatre show, and I think it wouldn't feel like out of place. Do you know what I mean?
The way that they present themselves and everything, not even just on stage but online, the lore and everything is just completely in character all the time, which I think is really cool. And I'm seeing a lot of more people starting to talk about them now, so I think this album that's coming out towards the end of the year is going to be really important.
Rightly so. They deserve the exposure.
Also, back to the song, like that when he sings the "Oh, let's talk about chemistry," is like just such a rush of serotonin for me. I don't know what it is.
Satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
Even just like lyrically, just some of the lines, the way, obviously, kind of when most people write the lyrics, you're looking at how you're rhyming things sometimes and making it flow. It flows beautifully, and each line is just so engaging. You really listen to it, and it's just every word. Obviously, it's not going to be like picked out meticulously, probably, but it seems like it has been, and it is like the perfect formula for that song. It is amazing.
My first pick, well, I guess second because we did Sleeps, is Afterlife by Holden Absence.
I'm not surprised by this.
Oh, just the chorus, man. Oh,
I've heard you playing it so many times.
I love it. I love it so much. I think one thing about it that's maybe underappreciated is like you can hear how hard he's hitting the drums. Like he's twatting it, but like it punches through and it gives it that bit more power. And yeah, Lucas Woodland is just I don't know.
There's something special in it.
Yeah, he like in terms of like emo music, like I'm struggling to think of a better singer. I don't know how to articulate how I feel about it, other than just it's like when I put it on, it just completely like consumes me.
I think just every aspect of the song, whether it's the drums, the guitars, the vocals, the lyrics, the whole ambience that the song creates, just blends together perfectly and kind of puts you in a little bubble, I guess.
Yeah, I just love it so much. James, your third pick?
My third is Baba Yaga by Slaughter to Prevail.
Yeah, mine
It's been a non-stop listen ever since it's released. I mean, the music video, first of all, just to separate, is amazing, fantastic, very enjoyable. But as a song, it's just really, really well crafted. This was my first proper exposure to them, and then gone back and like hearing Demolish that was released beforehand and listening to their first album and thoroughly enjoying it. It's just a really fantastically crafted song. The end, kind of like bridge section, just groovy as shit. I love the cymbal work. Riffs are fantastic, and it's bringing deathcore back. Yeah, absolute tune.
Yeah, I had it picked as well. I think interestingly, there was obviously a lot of like fanfare about the video, and for good reason. But the song has like lived up to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not all hype on the video. It is just an incredible, well-crafted song as well. And I think it's hard to make deathcore sound like fresh, especially because I don't listen to a lot of deathcore, but with this it felt like it just felt above just like a standard generic deathcore song.
I've gone for Trash Boat. He's so good.
Yes.
Because it's just so catchy. It's got quite an important subject matter within the lyrics, and it's quite a different direction to what they've done previously as well. This was the first single from the upcoming album. I just think it bangs. The way it just keeps on going towards the end. It feels like it's about to finish, but then comes in again with like an extra, almost post-chorus, I guess. I just think it's a really cool song.
Definitely very catchy. Like, you say that song, you instantly hear the melody of the chorus in your head. It's right there, which is so important with that. So yeah, solid.
Yeah, when you say the title or read the title, he's so
hear
good.
it,
You hear it being sung in your head,
Exactly,
don't you?
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you know what? We've really... I feel like we could do this all night, just talk about the best songs we've had this year, because we've been so spoiled.
You can literally stick 3 white guys in a room and ask them to talk about rock music, and they'll just have the time of their lives.
Exactly.
And we have been, haven't we?
Yes.
So, James, Artist of the Year, so far.
I got a curveball which I'm going to give to you later. So let's start nice and easy with probably what's predicted. Sleeps. Off a solid album, some solid songs. Their promotion for it is fantastic. What they've done with Sleep Society, although we can kind of talk, we've talked about it, we've done discussions about it. It's still going strong. It's still changing the game and creating something very different and unique. They're a fantastic band. They've done some good shit this year, and I genuinely cannot wait to see them twice in the space of 2 weeks coming up in September. It's what's keeping me going right now.
They were one of my 3 as well. I just feel like they tick all the boxes so far this year.
Yeah.
Have they released some great new music? Yes. Are they releasing loads of interesting content online? Yes. Did they put on what many people are saying was the best performance of the whole weekend at Download Pilot? Yes.
Why, guys?
So yeah, I don't think you can't put them in the top 3.
No. Oh, that's Alex. Did you not put them in your top 3?
I didn't, no. But they would probably be 4th, yeah. I mean, they're one of the best bands of the year. I don't know, I just didn't think of it that way, but when you put that list of things that they've done, then yeah, they're one of the best bands of the year so far.
So who trumped them in your top 3?
First I'll say Hold an Absence. I mean, I couldn't not. They've got one of my best albums and my absolute favourite song so far. I love them.
You said what you can say.
It's quite hard to judge Artist of the Year so far because
Yeah.
no one's really been playing any live shows. It's kind of based on whether they've released music and
Yeah. And
whether there's been any kind of content and engagement.
That's why there's so much similarity between our albums, artists, and songs, because that's what we're having to rely on.
But yeah, I think they've released for their second album, like, I don't want to say it's like a defining album because I'm sure they're going to go on to better things, but
A breakthrough, perhaps.
Yeah. It's absolutely immense. And yeah, we're seeing them in October, so I'm sure when we've seen them live and they've had some touring going on, when we revisit this in December, they'll probably still be up there for one of my best. So yeah, James, your second pick.
So my second pick is Slaughter to Prevail. This has got to be probably in terms of the latter half of the year, my most anticipated album. They've grabbed my attention from the get-go. I've been listening to all their stuff in anticipation for this. I found that each of the releases they've done leading up to this album with Baba Yaga, Zavali Ibolo, Agony and Demolisher, you're getting something different with each song. There's a different vibe to each of the songs, and I think it's going to be a really diverse deathcore album, which is probably something that you can't say about a lot of deathcore albums. Everything they post, I'm engaged by. And yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to August 13th right now with Costello.
I've got nothing more to add to that, really. They're great.
Dan, another one for you?
I've gone for Don Broco because the new songs are decent. Not their best, but like we've mentioned previously, once we've heard them live, we'll probably think much higher of them. But I've mainly put them in here because they're putting loads of content online at the moment. They've done like 20-something episodes of a studio diary recording their album, and they've done 2 really entertaining promotional stunts for their new songs. Firstly, changing their whole Instagram and Twitter account to just dedicated to David Beckham, being a David Beckham stan account. People were convinced they'd been hacked for a little while, but then they came out with obviously a David Beckham lookalike being like the new mascot for the new album, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they did it again with their new single Gum Shield, where Rob Damiani convinced everyone he was going to have a boxing fight, and then it just linked to the video for the new song.
Yeah, I think, like, in the modern age, to try and stand out promotional-wise, it's hard to do, like, stunts and, do you know what I mean, big promotional things, because people got either... There's just such an oversaturation in the market that it's hard to do something that stands out, and both of their promotional stuff had everyone talking, so, yeah, I can't argue that. Right, well, my next pick for Artist of the Year is Spirit Box. I think with everything they've released so far, it's my most anticipated album coming up. It's crazy that a band that I don't think they've played that many gigs, if really any, to like almost be like top of the scene at the moment is like just ridiculous, isn't it?
It's like they're fresh out of the box, just ready to go.
Yeah. I think every song has done something different, and every song is like still playing to their strengths. Like I don't feel like any of them have flopped or have been less like exciting than a different one.
They've all just brought something different to the
yeah.
table, haven't they? And shown how sort of versatile they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't wait for the album. They're touring with Limp Bizkit as well, which is insane. I love that for them. Yeah, hopefully they can make their way over here before the end of the year, because I'd like to see them live. But yeah, Spirit Box, I can't wait for that album. So I think they're one of the best artists of the year so far.
I can agree with you. Circle With Me was an absolute tune. And then her feature that we had like with Make Them Suffer earlier is absolutely fantastic. They're becoming like one of the most talked about bands right now in the scene. And there's just so much excitement surrounding them and about what potential they have, where they could go, and they haven't even released an album yet. Yeah, I think they've got a lot of potential and they could do something really, really special.
So Dan, your last pick for Artist of the Year?
I've, like I said, it's difficult to pick Artist of the Year when there's not been any live music or that example to go on. But I've gone for Mr. Kenny Hoopla. He's sort of transferred, if you like, into the pop punk world, and in my opinion, absolutely smashed it. He's had some help from Travis Barker for sure, but I still think most of that mixtape is Kenny. A lot of his older songwriting style is still in there, so I think he deserves the credit for it. And he's recently started playing a bunch of shows in the US. If going by his Instagram, he's doing like one a night at the moment, including a couple of secret ones, which look really cool. And all the while, he's still working on a full-length album in the background as well, which I believe is tipped for either later this year or the start of next year.
Ooh, that's big. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was one of my best albums of the year, so I've got no complaints with that.
No, like I said when you were talking about the album, it is absolutely fantastic.
So my last pick, I've kind of tried to think outside of like things that have been released, or you know what I mean, outside of music that's come out, and how the industry is changing and how bands have adapted to the world that we've been in for the last 18 months. I've gone for Stray from the Path. They have been like working on their new album live on Twitch. Like the guitarist will stream, write a load of guitar parts, and then the next day the drummer will stream, write his drum parts. And like interaction from the chat as well. Like I'm pretty sure they've got like suggestions from the chat that are going to be making the album. I think as like it's been hard to find, because going to gigs is like a connection to the band, isn't it? And it's been hard for people to find a way to do that now, and now you can just hop on Twitch and like just talk to them and they'll respond to you, and it's like it's the best that we can do in the situation that we've been in, I think. And loads of bands have been making that move over. I know that Boston Manor are doing it, This Wild Life, Counterparts are on there, but like Stray have been featured on the front page of Twitch quite a few times. They've had like tens of thousands of viewers at a time. They had like 1.1 million viewers in like just over a month. I think that's significant because they're not one of the biggest bands in the scene, but for them to be featured on the front of Twitch, I think is big.
That's
huge.
Yeah.
Craig Reynolds seems to know what he's doing with that Twitch
Yeah.
stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
He's streaming relentlessly, like several times a day, whatever
Yeah.
he's doing.
Him
Whether
on
he's
his
getting
own
a
channel,
coffee,
yeah.
chatting on his own, or playing some drums, or writing some music with Tom.
Yeah.
It's, traditionally, writing and recording music is quite secretive, and that it's got to be hush hush and lip sealed until release day.
Yeah.
But yeah, now more and more you get teasers with whether it's like Bring Me the Horizon kept teasing bits of their songs on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, or whether it's literally watching it being recorded on Twitch. It's a nice insight.
Great discussion, boys.
I agree.
Solid.
And why don't you let us know in the comments what your favourite album, song and artist of the year have been. James, what album would you like to recommend?
I'm going to recommend House of Golden Bones Part 1 by Stone Sour. It's one of few albums I think from start to finish is exceptional. There's some fantastic standout tunes. It's just a very, very good album. So yeah, House of Golden Bones Part 1 by Stone Sour.
It's a cracking album. I love it. Dan, your recommendation?
So until today, the weather's been pretty sunny here in the UK. We've been through a pretty nasty heat wave, where it's been so hot that all you can do is just chill in your garden and maybe listen to some pop punk. With that in mind, I've chosen one of what a lot of people argue is probably one of the best pop punk albums there is, and it's The Wonder Years, The Greatest Generation. It's just good vibes, a bit sad at times, but a good fun album.
Nice. And I'm going to recommend Old Bones by Broadside. It's an album that I've not listened to in a long time, but I actually think it will complement Dan's quite well. It's a nice sort of pop punk, light-hearted, good vibe album.
Pop punk chaser.
Yeah, I like that album, so that's my recommendation. So Dan, got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I've started to get active on my blog again at the Bird Box. I've recently written a little opinion piece about pop punk and whether we've got a new wave on the way. So yeah, check it out and let me know what you think. I'm also going to have loads more coming up with live music returning, so check it out.
And I released my third mix of lo-fi hip-hop beats last month. It's called Somewhere Else by CM Junk on all platforms. So please check it out.
So with live gigs imminently coming back, we've got lots of new content coming up in the works. Some vlogs, some maybe live reviews, lots of new and interesting pieces that we're looking at developing. So keep an eye on the channel, keep engaged, and be surprised about some good content coming soon.
Yeah, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on any more of our content.
And if you'd like to be a featured artist on here and you're independent, send us your music. We've got an email address in the description below. Maybe we'll hear you featured next month.
We want to hear what your highlights of the year have been so far as well. What are your favourite albums, artists and songs? Let us know in the comments.